Hey, what is up, mortals? It is GrogFunky here, with a new video for you. Welcome to part 13 of What If Deku Was a Dragon Slayer. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying, sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. And so, we begin. To say that Midoriya and Kaminari were surprised by the size change that Makarov performed before their eyes would be an understatement. The young wizards did not know how to process this sight. The two stood in the old man's bar room with surprised looks on their faces. It took several minutes before they could find the words to speak. Finally, Kaminari spoke up and asked in a panicked voice, "What the hell, old man? How did you do that?" "That is an interesting reaction. Good to know I can still get a rise out of people at my age." Midoriya did not know how to say this. He had heard stories from both Lucy and Natsu about Makarov Dreyer. The two wizards had described their master as being one of the most powerful living wizards, with powers that dwarfed even their considerable powers. The green teen had always pictured the man as a giant with magic energy exploding out of his body, but the tiny old man standing before him was the exact opposite of the image in his head. "Excuse me, sir. Are you really Makarov Dreyer?" Wendy spoke at this point. "He is, Midoriya. You've met him before, Wendy?" "I have." "When? During your training under Lucy?" "Correct. Trust me, this old man may not look like it, but he is Master Makarov." The old man then spoke. "It is good to see you again, Wendy. I see that you have made some new friends." The blue-haired girl bowed to the little man in respect. "I am very happy to see that you are in good health, Master. And yes, I have made some new friends." She turned around and pointed at the two boys in turn. "This is Midoriya. He's a fire dragon slayer like Natsu. And this is Denki Kaminari. He possesses lightning dragon magic, just like your grandson. Kaminari can also use basic lightning magic also." "Thank you for the explanation, Wendy. But I also knew that. I watched the sports festival. You three performed with excellence in that competition, but I did see where each of you could improve. Wendy, you need to work on your combat skills. You could also improve your cure magic. Midoriya, much like his master, has great power, but you need to perfect your subtle control of your element. Finally, Kaminari needs to work on fighting at full power. You need to be able to call on all of your power at a moment's notice. Enemies are not going to wait for you to charge up." Makarov closed his eyes. The three teens thought he was thinking deeply about something, but when the tiny man started to snore, the three knew he had fallen asleep. Wendy cleared her throat dramatically. "You were saying, Master?" Marakov's eyes shot open. "Right. You three have a week here before you return to UA. In that time, I will train you three to make better use of your magic." Makarov placed his hands on his chin in a thoughtful gesture. "With that in mind, let's get started." All three nodded at each other. While the old man may have been goofy, they could tell that he was no pushover. The teens replied in unison. "What should we do first, Master?" Makarov pointed at the cases in the young wizard's hands. "You have your hero costumes in those cases?" The young ones nodded. "Then get changed and show me what you have." The three nodded in agreement. The young wizards went into the upstairs rooms to get changed, after which the three gathered in the main room in their costumes. Midoriya was concerned about fighting in this room. "Master Makarov, do you think it is a good idea for us to fight inside? We might wreck it." The intelligent boy did not get to finish the sentence. Right in the middle of speaking, a fist hit him in the face. Midoriya fell to the floor in surprise. Midoriya wondered what hit him. He opened his eyes to see that Makarov's arm was stretched out. The appendage looked like it was made of putty. The appendage shrank back into its normal size. Makarov spoke in a harsh tone. "Do not question your mastery, my child. If I tell you to fight, then you fight. Now let's see what you got." The three young wizards prepared themselves for what they knew was going to be a very hard week. Elsewhere, Shigaraki was sitting at a bar. The white-haired villain was staring at two photos. These photos were snapshots of Midoriya and Kaminari from the sports festival. The man's eyes were seething with resentment. He thought to himself, "These brats have foiled my plans. They will pay for that." As the skinny man sat stewing, one of Kurogiri's black fog portals appeared in the middle of the room. The hero killer Stain emerged from the portal. The stern-eyed man looked around at the room and saw Shigaraki. Kurogiri appeared in the room behind Stain. "Master, I have brought the man you asked for." The television at the back of the bar flipped on and the words "audio only" appeared. Then a deep, malignant voice seeped from the speakers. "Well done, Kurogiri." Shigaraki looked the bladed man over.
"So, this is the hero killer Stain. Glad you could make it. How about you join our league? We have so much in common after all."
"Why should I do that? What is your purpose?"
"Right now, I just want to kill All Might."
Shigaraki threw the photos of Midoriya and Kaminari at the hero killer.
I would have done it if these brats had not gotten in my way.
Stain stood in the middle of the room. The fanatic did not speak for a moment. He took in everything about Shigaraki, and Stain did not like what his senses told him. They told him that Shigaraki was dangerous and undisciplined. Even knowing that there was only one way to be sure about his character, shadows gathered around Stain. The fearsome man drew two of his blades and attacked. Back at Makarov's home, the three dragon slayers were laying on the floor. Each one of them was breathing heavily and out of magic power. The three knew that Makarov had to be powerful, but they never thought he would be this powerful. It wasn't just his magic power, the man was a beast of a fighter. Makarov looked over the three teens and smiled. Your masters did not lie. You three have incredible potential. Now you three rest while I go get us some food. The three students replied in the affirmative. Makarov thought to himself, both Midoriya and Kaminari are very powerful. Not that I didn't know that already from the sports festival. They have Dragon Slayer powers, but there's something else. It is also good to see that Wendy is recovering her power, but it is clear that she was affected by the event. But with these two new Dragon Slayers, we might be able to finally defeat him. Back at the hidden bar, Stain had Shigaraki pinned to the floor.
I see. You're the kind of person I hate most. You have drive, but no conviction. You seek to change the world, but you do not know why you fight. You will never succeed with that mindset. Hey, you're getting pretty rough there. My injuries had just about healed, and now this?
Kurogiri became concerned when he saw Shigaraki bleeding on the floor.
Master, should I step in? Let it happen. It may be the only way the boy will learn.
Stain removed one of his daggers from Shigaraki's shoulder. The adamant man then moved the blade towards the scrawny young man's face, and the hand masked on it. This got an immediate reaction from Shigaraki. The man with the irritated skin grabbed the blade in his hand. This caused his hand to start bleeding. Shigaraki then spoke in a crazed voice.
What do you think you're doing? Cutting up my body is one thing, but if you touch this hand, I will destroy you.
The blade dissolved into a pile of rust in Shigaraki's grip. Stain was surprised by the look in Shigaraki's eye. The large man jumped back, and Shigaraki picked himself up off the ground.
It seems I was wrong about you. There is a warped sprout of conviction in you. We both agree that in order to change the future, we must destroy the present. I think I'll let you continue to grow for a while. I can always kill you later if you turn out bad. Whatever. Get lost.
Kurogiri broke in at this point.
Not so fast, master.
The fog-bodied villain extended his head to speak into Shigaraki's ear.
Do not dismiss this man so quickly. You must use him to help achieve your goals.
The loyal servant then retracted his head.
I think that this has been a good first meeting. We can discuss recruitment at a time later.
Fine. There is work for me to do in Hosu.
You will return me there now. Of course.
With those words, Kurogiri opened a portal and the three walked through the door and vanished. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Staying safe online is an ever-growing difficulty, and hackers could exploit you. NordVPN allows you to change your IP address, making you harder to track, securing your privacy. In addition to providing you with safe passage through the web, you can also expand the reach of your favorite streaming services. Are you tired of going through 2, 3, even 4 streaming services to watch your favorite anime? Well, with NordVPN, you can change your country and be able to binge shows like My Hero Academia, Naruto, and many others on your favorite streaming services with just the press of a button. Check out the link below in the description to get 72% off when buying for 2 years at $3.29 a month. This deal is for a limited time, and thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. The three young wizards were so wiped out by Marakov's training that they slept until the next morning when the punishment started all over again. Around lunchtime, Makarov stopped the training.
All right, that is enough. It is time to change it up.
Midoriya got a frantic look on his face.
No, please, let us fight more. We can still keep going.
Kaminari spoke in a sarcastic tone. Speak for yourself, bud. I, for one, am tired of getting my butt handed to me by this little old man.
Watch your tone, Kaminari. Midoriya, your determination is appreciated, but you three need to get experience fighting all kinds of opponents. If you only fight me, you might develop some weird habits. Get changed into your costumes and meet me out front.
The three teens got changed and met Makarov in short order. The three did not want to run the risk of upsetting the Master Wizard.
Okay, kids, we're going out to face some villains.
Wendy got a worried look on her face. The tiny girl spoke in a panicked voice.
Is that a good idea, Master? It'll be fine, Wendy. After all, you three have already faced evildoers before.
The three youths nodded in agreement.
Don't worry, we're not going anywhere to fight anything too dangerous. This is an internship after all.
With that explanation, the group of wizards climbed into a taxi and headed for the train station. Normally, riding in a cab would have incapacitated the three Dragon Slayers, but Midoriya shared his motion sickness tablets with Wendy and Kaminari. The three were still very uncomfortable, though. But they did not pass out. Makarov told the three that they were still taking a train into Tokyo.
If you want to find villains to face, we'll have to go to a more populated area. We won't find any lawbreakers in this area because the population is so small. That is why there are so many hero agencies in large cities.
After the four wizards boarded the train, a thought occurred to Midoriya. Sir, will we be passing through Hosu City?
That is right, young man.
Won't we get there kinda late at this rate?
I planned it that way. The villains usually wait for darkness to fall before proceeding with their unlawful business. There will be plenty of fights for us to get into. That way it'll be more fun.
Kaminari got a worried look on his face. I think you and I have different definitions of fun, sir. Midoriya got a worried look on his face. Wendy knew the green-haired boy well enough to know that something was bothering him. In a concerned tone, she asked, What is wrong, Midoriya? Am I that obvious? Wendy nodded. So tell me what's going on. Maybe I can help. It's Ida. You're worried that he might go looking for a hero killer, so he can get revenge for his brother? Midoriya nodded in agreement. Normally, I wouldn't worry about such a thing. Ida's normally the most level-headed member of the class, but the look in Ida's eyes at the train station gave me a bad feeling. Wendy reached over and placed her hand on Midoriya's shoulder. I know what you mean, but right now, there's little we can do about it. We'll just have to trust that Ida won't do something that stupid and dangerous. Meanwhile, Stain, Shigaraki, and Kurogiri appeared on a rooftop in Hosu. Stain looked out over the city and was disgusted by the view.
There are so many false heroes in this world. Hero is a word meant for those who have accomplished great things.
Stain then raised the volume of his voice until he was practically screaming.
Hero! I will reclaim that word!
Kurogiri spoke with admiration in his voice.
You are very driven and have a clear goal in mind. It is very impressive.
Finally, someone understands. I will show the people of Hosu what real justice looks like. The hero imposters will pay for their heresy.
With that comment, Stain leaped off the building, onto the streets below. The bandana-clad man took off into the back streets of Hosu. Shigaraki stood on the rooftop, fuming with resentment.
He sure likes to hear himself talk, doesn't he?
He might be a fanatic, but you should not spurn his methods. Stain does affect change wherever he appears. In every city he has struck, crime rates have fallen. Maybe because heroes feel a greater sense of awareness or out of fear, but the results are there.
Oh, wonderful. Our hero killer is actually a great hero breeder. It just won't work. We disagree on a fundamental level.
The skinny man turned to Kurogiri.
Release the Nomus, Kurogiri.
The misty villain opened several portals on the rooftop. 3 large creatures with exposed brains emerged from the Stygian gateways. Like their USJ counterparts, the 3 beasts stood there awaiting orders. Shigaraki raised his hands and began to cackle maniacally. The gray-haired man then spoke with a crazed tone.
You have the nerve to injure me and then talk down to me? I will show you how a real villain acts. By tomorrow morning, no one will remember that you ever existed. Nomus, attack everyone you see and destroy the city.
With that command, the Nomus took off into the city to carry out their orders. The train carrying their group of wizards approached Hosu City. Suddenly, a hero in a fur coat came crashing into the train car, leaving a giant hole in the car. This caused the passengers to freak out. Their panic became extreme when a Nomu with blue-green skin started to climb into the car through the hole left by the hero. Makarov reacted without saying a word. The old man expanded his fist and delivered a powerful punch to the brain-headed giant. The elderly wizard looked back at his interns.
Don't just sit there, you 3. Let's get moving. If this guy is here, then there are probably other villains around.
Wendy spoke up. But sir, we're only students. Won't you get in trouble if we attack villains?
Screw that. Helping out others is more important than following the rules. Get out there and do what heroes do.
With those final orders, Makarov then pushed Nomu out of the train with all the force he could muster. The hero and monster went flying off into the distance. The 3 UA students stood at the opening of the train. They saw Hosu City in flames, and the sound of terrified screams ripped through the night. The scene horrified the trio. Midoriya looked at his friends. Are you guys ready for this? Of course. We have to help if we can, even if we aren't licensed heroes. Kaminari gave Midoriya a thumbs up. There's no way I'm letting you guys get all the credit. Count me in! With that affirmative exchange, the 3 wizards leaped off from the train car and ran off into the disaster zone below. Little did they know that a serious trial awaited them in the burning city below. Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that we the Celestials have many other channels for your entertainment and viewing purposes. All the information you'll need is in the description below, so feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. That's all for today's video, so goodbye and have a divine day.